Thanks for tuning in to the World XP podcast. If you're enjoying the content, please drop us up, drop a like, and let us know your thoughts below in the comments. Also, please consider supporting our podcast via the link below. It really helps us out.
John, the World XP podcast resident sports writer, is back for we didn't do our NBA season preview, so we're doing an NBA, was it 2 months or 3 months in reaction / predictions for the rest of the season episode. I feel like this has become a little bit of a staple, which I enjoy a little bit. So thanks for coming back, man. I appreciate it.
No, it's a pleasure to be on. Always love being on World XP. Great to be here. Can't say the same about my sports teams, but hey, who knows? We never can predict what happens. I'm always wrong. It ends up being.
Oh my.
So
no, you're not
see
always
what the NBA
wrong.
has to offer.
You're not always wrong. Stop it. The first thing I want to get your thoughts on was the NBA in-season tournament. I know we had a little bit of banter in the group chat about the Lakers putting up a banner that didn't mean anything. Sorry, Mustafa. But what are your thoughts on the format or the concept generally and the execution of it? Like for me, the courts I thought was a nice change of pace, and it just seemed like, and I didn't really listen to or pay attention to like what it meant for the regular season and stuff, but just like having another thing to kind of pay attention to. Like the regular season had kind of got stale for me, except for Christmas and like a few other marquee matchups here and there. So it was nice to, even though I didn't really watch any of it, it was nice to be like, oh, that's a cool change of pace. But I don't know, what are your thoughts on it?
No, I think it's a good change of pace. It really helps the viewership. Doesn't mean much. No, I wish it had some playoff implications, maybe with, I don't know, if you finish top each side of your, I don't know, conference, so to say. Like we had the Pacers, Lakers finishing top two. Maybe it means, hey, no matter how you finish, you get at least a play-in. So like the Lakers right now, who are not even playoff eligible, granted they won the in-season tournament, maybe they're the automatic 10 team. And sorry if you're 10th in the West in that scenario, but I think that would have been more interesting. But it was entertaining to watch, especially the courts. Uniforms, I didn't like the city editions this year. I thought they were lacking a lot overall, but it was fun to watch. Especially you saw like Tyrese Halliburton come out of his shell and become this probably NBA second team player, and just seeing these other teams kind of gain momentum, and just, I don't know, we haven't seen like a Pacers or even a Pelicans team that has been relevant in a long time.
Yeah, 100%. To your point about like if they win, maybe they're the automatic 10 seed, but that's something that they would know going into the season. It's the same sort of system as if you are like, let's say hypothetically in soccer, if a team wins the Champions League but they finish in fifth, then whoever's in fourth, like, sorry, but that's something that you know about. And if you know that that team has a chance to win whatever that competition is, you know you have to make sure that you finish third or ninth or whatever the situation is. So it adds a little bit extra to that, I think, as well, to your point. So I don't know. We'll see. I think execution maybe could be better, like you said, but I think overall, good concept. And looking forward to see how they execute it next year.
Right. It was good to watch a lot of these other guys who don't usually get play time get a couple bonuses. Like Christian Wood, I saw that he had purchased a house for his mom with the money that he had earned. So it was nice to see stuff like that, where a lot of these bench players get to finally make decent money, as opposed to as compared to, let's say, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, 100%. Any other thoughts on the in-season tournament? You want to go on to normal regular season?
I'd say we're good to proceed to the regular season, especially given the vast like drop off between the Lakers in season kind of leads to, well, the regular season drop off that they're currently experiencing.
Yeah, is that your biggest surprise of the regular season so far?
I mean, I thought it was going to be a kind of a vendetta year, kind of LeBron and AD come back, forced to be reckoned with. They signed offseason was arguably one of the best in the NBA, my opinion. They bring back a lot of guys. They had finished second in the West, and then I don't know, just AD and LeBron have been playing great. I mean, but everyone else can't be found.
Yeah. I was talking with Mustafa about this the other day. He said, "Did you see Braun elbowed
Yes.
somebody on the Grizzlies, whoever that I don't remember who it
Yes.
was."
Yeah.
Um,
He
and
elbowed
then
him.
he says, "Oh, we just suck right now." And I was saying to Mustafa, it just seems like he's taxed mentally at this point because those are not things that you would expect of him.
He does seem to be mentally taxed. He's frustrated. Apparently, he's not speaking to the media even after like non-blowout wins. Um, he's just quiet. According to I listened to something on ESPN earlier today that according to Kendrick Perkins, which kind of means little, but apparently he's quite on the group chat that they're a part of. But do I buy any of that? No. I mean, LeBron's LeBron. He can do whatever he wants. He's the king for a reason. So, yeah, I mean, they finished arguably the hottest team in the NBA last year. So there's no way you can count them out.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. What other big surprises have there been for you? I think just glancing over the standings, I don't know if Minnesota was supposed to be as good as they are. Um, but I don't
Yeah.
really see maybe Orlando is another surprise that they're playing pretty well, but I don't really see
Yeah.
any other super strange things.
No, I mean, you could argue the lack of, I mean, a lot of these are injury related, but for the Suns, you figured their big three with Beal, who's been injured a lot, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, you thought they'd be higher up, maybe even, um, I don't know. You just, some of these teams you thought would be good or better. You thought Golden State maybe would come back in a way, but they haven't. I'm kind of surprised by Toronto, how fast they've been selling. I thought they were going to be considered like a dark horse, but they just kind of dropped off. And now of course, they traded OG Anunoby to the Knicks. They got a good return, I'll say. I think they got, I mean, the Knicks are playing very well, don't get me wrong, but if I were to give an edge, I would probably early prediction they have a better edge in that trade, but I don't know. They're kind of seeming like they're going to deal Pascal Siakam, and I think they kind of have to.
What is the potential
You can't let
landing
them walk in free
spots?
agency.
Yeah, where are potential landing spots for Siakam?
Apparently, there's 4 teams that are strongly interested. One of which is now the Golden State Warriors, which is makes sense, but a little bit surprising. I don't know how a trade would look for that. I doubt, I doubt Toronto wants, of course, Draymond Green. Klay Thompson's been, eh, and well, Curry's a bit old now, so I don't know. Maybe Kuminga they would deal away. I could see. Kuminga's been playing well, but he hasn't gotten much playing time, and he's kind of been vocal in kind of a negative way about the team. So I could see that, but I think there's a better chance at maybe a Philadelphia, um, or even I mean you could, I mean probably not the Knicks given that they got Randall. Um, it's hard. It's hard to find a suitor. I mean, but there are those teams that are kind of on the outside cusp of the top tier that maybe are looking for a little boost. I don't think the Thunder. I think the Thunder are going to be sellers. I mean, that would be incredible to have Pascal next to Chet Holmgren, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. That would be something, given all the draft picks that they have. But the
Yeah.
age difference doesn't kind of match up with their uh, building experiment.
If he went to Philly, I think that well, depending on what Philly would have to give up, that would be interesting. Obviously for you as a Philly fan, but I think that would be quite
Yeah,
interesting. Um, is that feasible for you guys, really?
I could see it being feasible. Do I think it will happen? Probably not. I think Philadelphia is more likely to go after, let's say, Bogdanovich or like something like that, a 3-and-D kind of thing. But you could make something happen, like contract wise. It would have to include probably Marcus Morris Sr. You'd probably put in B-ball Paul, throw in there. I don't know, maybe a couple. I mean, of course, a couple picks, but maybe another young player on the as a guard. But that would probably be the main pieces because Toronto's mainly wanting to dump salary.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what's been the catalyst for their sort of rise? So right now, obviously, we got the 1 seeds are Boston and Minnesota. I don't think
Right.
if you were to ask anyone at the beginning of the season that they would have said Minnesota would have been the 1 seed in the West. 30,
No.
what are we, a little less than halfway through the season? What's been the catalyst for their success thus far?
Well, I think they're led by a great coach and Chris Finch. It's now his 4th year technically. I mean, he started coaching in 2020, 2021, about halfway through. But they've seen great improvement from a lot of their core players. Gobert statistically is not having his best year, but I consider him the defensive rookie or defensive player of the year. He's not a rookie. But I mean, Anthony Edwards has seen great improvement. He's easily an all-star. Naz Reid as a backup center, former LSU product, has played very well off the bench. And they're just playing in a groove. And of course, they're led by the Twin Towers and Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns. But McDaniels in there. But they're just a solid young team and a little bit veteran leadership with, of course, Gobert and Anthony Towns. But I mean, Anthony Edwards, he's playing like that top pick he was drafted as.
Do you think they can make some noise in the playoffs, or are they too inexperienced in the playoffs? Do you think are they going to be like a 1-2 seed that, like for example, a Lakers or a Phoenix or a Golden State is going to want to see in the first round?
Well, I think they're going to finish third when push comes to shove. I think Denver's going to still finish first, and I see Oklahoma City edging them out slightly. It is very close, though, in those top 3, 4-ish teams, with Sacramento and the Clippers being just on the outside of that. But I could see them doing something. Depends on the matchups, because some teams they're great against. Some teams they're just, I mean, they're not matchup wise good against. Do I think they can beat a Denver? Probably not in a 7-game series. But I could see them making noise, but I just don't think they have enough. I don't think they have enough experience when it comes to overall, like you're alluding to, especially on the bench. The bench is kind of young. That's where I think a little bit of the problem is when it comes to playoffs.
That makes sense. So I want to stick with the West for a little bit because we've got these teams: Lakers, Golden State, Phoenix, the Clippers. With these, we'll say like the they have the stars of, we'll say, like me and you, our generation, kind of all teamed up. Like if you were to say 5 years ago, if you had Booker, Durant, and Beal, you'd be like, oh, that team is for sure winning it all. And then, but you could say that for all 4 of those teams, kind of.
Right.
So what do you see shaking out in the West, obviously, because you've still got a Dallas sitting there with Luka. Kyrie's still there, isn't he? I believe. And where do you see these kind of, because it seems to me like there's 4 teams that are floating around this like 6 to 11 sort of area that other teams are not going to want to see in the playoffs. Is that a fair statement, or do these records for these teams really reflect how good they actually are?
No, I do think they're I think there's a crowd of West teams that I think it'll be really depending on how they finish the regular season. A lot of that will play into it, but there are a lot of good West teams in that. I'd say top. I mean, you could argue seven teams. I'd probably go six, but six, 7 teams that are they could easily upset a one team, like a Denver. Do I think it'll happen? No, I think Denver's got too much experience with each other, and unless somebody in the starting lineup gets injured, I don't see anything shaking out. But I mean, you never know. Oklahoma City, they're incredibly young, but they're hungry. I mean, they're winning. And Chet Holmgren, I think, well, some may argue Victor Wembanyama, and I thought Wemby would be the MVP or the Rookie of the Year, but Chet Holmgren's been at least the Rookie of the Year to the halfway point almost. But you got teams like that. You got the Kings, who are no one to sleep on, with Fox, Malik Monk, Sabonis. And you got the Clippers. Clippers are arguably the hottest team in the NBA right now. I mean, James Harden joins. You think, okay, they're off to a rocky start. They were, but then they pulled it together. They've got, of course, arguably Kawhi on one of his best streaks of his playing career in the NBA, and Paul George. The only question with them is, can Kawhi stay healthy? Can they all stay healthy? Given the age of a lot of them being 30, 32 at least and up, 32, 33. And of course, you throw in Westbrook in there. But then you got Dallas, Luka, Kyrie. Luka can put up 30 a game. So, yeah.
This Clippers team,
After
like
that, it's question mark.
This Clippers team just going down the road. Kawhi, Paul George, Harden, Westbrook, like 6 years ago, that is like the all-star starting lineup. But it's crazy how things change like that and how some of these guys move around because they still have the talent, obviously. But you mentioned Wembanyama. Did I say his name right? Wembanyama. Yeah. So so obviously he's having a decent season for a rookie, right? 19 and 10 and 3 assists and 3 blocks, right? It is a good season. But I've been hearing from, like, if I listen to JJ Redick's show or whatever, I've been hearing that he's not getting that much playing time, and I saw a couple clips of him like open under the basket, him not getting the ball. Is there any unrest there? Or, like, what's the situation going on there? Because even like I feel like 5-29 is like really, really not good, obviously. But it seems like I don't what's going on with them, do you think?
I mean, you can add a Wembanyama. Yeah. And he's one guy. One guy's not going to win you 30, 40 games.
Sure.
And, I mean, that's why I give the edge right now, especially Rookie of the Year, to Chet Holmgren. You look at impact on a team. Yeah, they have a Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Yes, they have a better team all around. I mean, you put Wemby on the team, you take Holmgren out, you could say Wemby's better, but we don't know that. We'll never know that. But it's not like Wembanyama's not getting playing time. He's getting almost, 29, 30 minutes per game. And technically he's scoring more than Chet Holmgren. Yeah, and he's been better defensively, but again, there's a lot of things that go beyond that. Like, Wembanyama's had a great 4-game span, but Chet's second among rookies in points per game. He's got the best field goal percentage among rookies that have played more than 30 games. He's shooting 54.3%, which is pretty ridiculous. He's fourth best in 3-point percentage among rookies that have played 30 or more games, 39.6, which is better than Wembanyama. Makes a bigger impact, like I said, and he's shaping into a star player. We already know Wembanyama's going to become a star. I mean, He just earned the respect, honestly, of Giannis. Granted, you also got to look at, like I said, he's had a great 4-game span, Wembanyama. But look at the teams that he's played. Like, he's played Milwaukee, who's playing terrible on defense, just awful. Like, one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA. And it's shocking for how good their record is. And that last, no, because they're just that bad on defense. But like I said, it's more than one player. Wembanyama's a center that's listed at 7'4", but he's actually 7'5", and he can't do everything. I mean, it took more than just like Joel Embiid to become what he is now. He had to have Ben Simmons at the time. He had to get other players around him because, I mean, look at him. He gets guarded 2-3 players every time he touches the ball now. So,
Yeah.
but I do think while the record doesn't show, Greg Popovich knows what he's doing. If anyone does, it's him.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I guess I just didn't expect them to be like that bad. I expected them to be at this point, like just looking at the records, I would have expected them to be in like the 10 and 22 type range, just like slightly better. Also down at the bottom of the West is Memphis. Do you expect them to make a resurgence now that Ja Morant is back and be a threat in the playoffs, or do you think that is too late for them?
No, I wouldn't say it's too late. I mean, they're only about, I think, like 4 or 5 teams, man. Well, more like 6. 6 games back of like the 10 seed.
Yep.
5-6.
5 games back, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I mean, the team that they're trying to catch up to is Golden State, who's in shambles. Houston, who's kind of inconsistent, but they do have a good young star in Sengun. Suns, who are injured every other week. I think New Orleans is going to stay. They're still going to make the playoffs. So I think there's 3 teams they could easily 3 of those teams they could catch up to, and ahead of them is like the Jazz and the Lakers. Jazz are inconsistent. Lakers, you don't know. It's like Golden State; they could go up or down in a large way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, I think they could easily catch, especially the past 2 games that they've played. I mean, they played well.
Fair enough. So we'll stick with the West for this one. We'll say, who are your kind of, if you were to predict the conference finals matchup out of the West, who would you go with?
Well, I would. My first round matchups would be Denver, and then I'd have Phoenix as the 8 seed. I think they get back to some sort of healthiness. You have Kevin Durant, and you'll have a Booker. I mean, it's kind of hard to outdo that. But I have them like winning their play-in, but then losing to the Pelicans. Pelicans getting 7 seed. They would take on the Thunder. Dallas at 6, playing number 3 Minnesota, and then 5-4 is a battle for California in number 5 Clippers, number 4 Kings. So I figure Nuggets win their round. Thunder, I think Thunder take care of Pelicans. I think Timberwolves beat the Mavericks. Maybe go 7. That's a flip of a coin there. And then I think the Clippers beat the Kings. I'm gonna just hope that Kawhi is healthy. So then you're looking at Nuggets, Clippers,
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. So still got to go Nuggets. I'm gonna say at the end of the day, it's gonna be the Nuggets.
You think Nuggets against the Thunder in the final conference finals, something like that? Do you think they get there, or do you think maybe Nuggets against maybe a Dallas or something like that? Oh, if Dallas were to lose, who would they play?
Another matchup hypothetically would be OKC and Timberwolves.
Or Timberwolves, I meant, sorry.
Yeah. So I would say I think there's something special with this Thunder team. Give me the Thunder. As young
Fair
as they
enough.
are, as inexperienced they are. Give me Thunder, but I think they get them off the floor in this hypothetical by the Nuggets. I think
Yeah,
they
I mean,
get swept or something.
hasn't Jokic only missed like 4 shots in his last like 5 games or something crazy? I think I saw that stat somewhere.
Usually made some ridiculous half court shot.
Yeah. All right, let's move to the East. The Pistons are obviously horrendous. But
No, I think they're
how
great.
do you any big surprises in the East for you so far?
See, my surprise
player or
in a
team?
good way, best teams. I mean, the most surprising in a good way, team wise, have been the Pacers and the Magic. I kind of felt like these two teams would be dark horses before the season, and they kind of are. Like they're lower market teams. Like they're not a big city team. When you think of big cities, you think LA, Boston, Philadelphia, Miami, something like that. These are low level market teams, but both teams didn't make the postseason last year, the playoffs. They're only separated by half a game of each other right now. I think that was as of yesterday, before yesterday's game. And then I think they're both on track to finish 10 games above where they were last year, record wise in the regular season. Yeah.
Solid. What are your, as a Miami fan, I have to ask, what are your thoughts on Jaime Jaquez and, well, him, but also the Heat generally so far this season?
I think they played well. They're missing something. They're just missing, like, I don't know what it is. I mean, they're the fourth best team or fifth best team now in the East, but they're just missing something. They're missing, like, I feel like they're getting slightly too many points per game, and they're not scoring. And they're especially not scoring enough. I feel like they could score more. The defense has played okay, decent, but I mean, the difference in them winning and losing, like points per game wise, is about a point, I think. Just less. And they're winning close games, which is good. That's a good thing. But also they got a lot of guys injured, so it's kind of hard to assess given what Butler's out, Caleb Martin's out. I mean, Yami Yaquez, he's been one of the best rookies. Good surprise there. But I'm also like, do I really think Kyle Lowry can be healthy? He couldn't stay healthy last year.
Yeah.
Do I really think Kevin Love can make a huge impact as he did last year? No, I think. And you're depending on in the backup wise, you're depending on him, Josh Richardson, Yaquez, Jovic, Duncan Robinson, who's good, don't get me wrong, but and then Josh Richardson. So, yeah, I'm not sure.
I feel like we're going to be the
Maybe.
same as I feel like we're going to be the same as we've been the last couple of years, which is like a tough out in the playoffs, maybe a conference semis, conference finals type deal, but not really a big threat to go to the championship or even well, we did go to the finals, I guess, but then it wasn't close even then. So, I mean, it would be nice to see us do it again, but every finals or every playoff run, it's like Jimmy plays amazing and we play really good defense and we make opportune plays, and then we beat teams that have holes in them because Coach Spo is really good. But then as soon as we play against a team that doesn't really have a hole, i.e. the Nuggets, even though some of the games were close, we were never really going to win that series. So, and same with the Lakers 2020. It's like once you get there, it's like the amount of effort that we've put in to get to that point is like it's not sustainable to win a fourth series. But okay, what are your, if you had to go conference finals for the East, how do you see things shaking out in the East? And then if you had to give a NBA champion prediction, who would it be?
Right now, I mean, as painful as it is, it hurts. Boston's the best team in the East. They're too well rounded. Kristaps is healthy. Tatum. Derek White's a tremendous player. He's having an all-star season. I mean, yeah, they lost Marcus Smart, but I mean, it's like it didn't even matter. They're just a good team from a general managerial standpoint. And it's hard to win at the Garden. I mean, it's one of the hardest places to play. Bucks were my number one, but their defense, like I said, is just Swiss cheese. They lost Drew Holiday. Of course, he goes to Boston. The problem is he's arguably one of the best, if not the best, on-ball point guard defenders in the NBA. And you replace him with Damian Lillard, and Lillard's got to make up offensive-wise for Drew Holiday and more because he lacks in defense. And I mean, it's a different type of NBA nowadays. Defenses don't win championships usually, but defense does matter. And so the Bucks, I mean, I have them finishing second, but do I think they're going to win the East? Not if they keep playing this way. I mean,
so you got Boston.
There's no
then
way. I mean, yeah, I got Boston, but I've got I had Boston, Bucks, Philly in 3, 4 for Miami, kind of where the standings are right now. But then Pacers, Cavs, Knicks, and then your play-in teams, of course. Therefore, the Knicks, Magic, Nets, Hawks. And so, I mean, Orlando at Boston. I mean, sorry, Orlando. No chance. Knicks at Bucks. That'd be really entertaining. I could see an upset. Do I think it's going to happen? No. Especially because Julius Randle's not been well in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Cavs Sixers again. Deja vu. Pacers Heat. Now it's going to be entertaining. I might take the Pacers. I like Halbert. But it all depends on the health of Jimmy Butler. Ultimately for me on that one. But yeah, Boston at the end of the day. So Boston, Denver.
Boston, Denver. Who, if you had to pick one?
Give me a repeat over taking Boston. I can't take Boston. Not go against all my religion.
the hatred and the bitterness of being a Philly fan is coming through.
I mean, it's like a Lakers fan trying to say Boston. You can't do it.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, let's go to our end of season award predictions. We'll go with MVP first.
I mean, you got to give me Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid's, 15 straight now? 15, 16, whatever straight now with 30.10 rebound games. Only Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Wilt Chamberlain have done that. Wilt with his ridiculous, I don't know, 69 of those straight. Something ridiculous like that. He leads NBA in free throws attempted and made. And that's on average. He averages I think 12, around 12 and a half free throws made or attempted per game. Second place is Shai Gilgeous with 7.7.
Mm-hmm.
5-point differential is huge. But he's too hard to defend. I mean, the only thing that will keep him from getting it is, of course, his health. Right now, he's been battling a knee injury. He was out yesterday. But yeah, I mean, when he's on the court, he's the hardest center to defend, in my opinion. But Jokic is not too far behind. Jokic is right there. And Shai Gilgeous, I would put in third place.
Yeah, fair enough. I think I was watching clips of Embiid the other day, and he just like I forgot who they were playing, Timberwolves maybe. I think it was the Timberwolves, and he had I don't remember the exact point total. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I'm on the ESPN app at the moment, but I saw a clip. It was basically he got all of his points from the free throw line. Like there's little short 15-foot jumpers, and he just every time jab step, shoot over the guy, and it's like you can't guard him because as soon as you get close, then he takes one dribble and it's a layup at the rim or a dunk or whatever. He's such a good player. Yeah, fair enough. And then I think so. Okay, so Embiid for MVP. We talked about Rookie of the Year. I agree with your take with that one. I think Holmgren, based on how he's playing plus the success of his team, I think that's a pretty safe bet. I think Wemby is second, Haskins third, something like that is I think how it's looking at the moment. All right, Coach of the Year.
I'm gonna go. And while I did say the Thunder finished above, right now at this point, I got to give it to Chris Finch, Timberwolves. I mean, they're actually, what are they? They're 5-0 against the top 4 teams that were in the top 4 finishing teams in the playoffs for the West. So Nuggets, Lakers, and other 2, can't remember even who. I think the Warriors. Was it the Warriors? I can't remember. But a lot of the teams aren't that great, but still 5-0. But yeah, Timberwolves have just played great. Did anyone really think they're gonna be this good? No. Maybe A-Rod with his partial stake in those Timberwolves now, but I mean, aside from that, no.
So you're going with
Chris Finch.
Yeah. Fair enough. You cut out a little bit when you said it, so I had to re-ask. Okay, so then we got MVP, Rookie of the Year, Coach of the Year. Was it Most Improved? Are there other ones besides Most Improved, or is that the last one?
Well, you got Defensive Player of the Year.
Yes.
Who I'd probably give Gobert.
Okay.
8.4 rebounds per game. Well, 8.4 rebounds per game defensively. 2.1 blocks per game. Yeah, it's not the greatest in the NBA right now. But again, it's about that impact on the team, especially because he's the best defensive player on the best defensive team that's only averaging about 107.4 points per game last time I checked. So,
yeah,
when you're the best on the best defensively,
makes sense. And then most improved.
Most improved, got to give me Tyrese Maxey. I mean, Maxey, he went from, I mean, he was averaging 20.3 points per game last season. Now he averages about 26. His free throw percentage has gone up about 1.5% more. He's blocking. Well, it's not much. He was at 0.1 blocks per game last year. He's at 0.5. His assists have nearly doubled from 3.5 to 6.5. He's not fouling as much. He's a better on-ball defender. I mean, there's other guys in there if you consider, like Sengun for the Rockets, Halliburton, but Maxey's just, I mean, I think he's the fastest player on the court.
Are you
So Tyrese Maxey, and then
what do you give your odds for? We'll end with this. We made it concise and succinct. We said 45 minutes. We're in and out. It's basically 45 minutes. What do you give your odds for Philly to win the chip? Are you hopeful this year, or is it, to me it seems like you guys have more of a shot this year than previous years?
Well, I mean, I think it's about the same. We don't have another. I mean, Harden's a good player. No matter how you feel about him, he's a good player. And with Embiid out, he did win us a game or 2, especially against Boston, which is not easy. So, respect to Harden there. But at the same time, you're also taking away a star or a guy who's wanting the ball, which creates better flow, like filtering the ball out. So like Embiid down by the rim, outside the paint for a hook shot or maybe a step back. And then you got Maxey at the point, and Tobias. They got some decent wings, especially adding Batum, who's been a good addition, as well as more senior. So it's about the same, even though they technically, I think, lost talent. I think they also gained good things like that and a fresh new coach in Nick Nurse who's won a championship. So I'd say, I don't know, I might give it about a 30, give it a third chance, like a 33.3 there. But I mean, it's hard to take on Boston, Milwaukee, let alone not even thinking about the West, whoever emerges.
Yeah. Fair enough, dude. Any last nickels? I appreciate your time. I know we had a recording or a scheduling snafu. We did it right in the middle of the Arsenal Liverpool FA Cup game. So that's kind of with the hurried ending, so we can both get out of here and watch the rest of the game. But any last nickels? Any last nickels before we get you out of here?
I mean, I think the Pistons are going to win it all next year. No, I do think you got to give respect to Cade Cunningham. As bad as the team has been, he has been a phenomenal player, and he has put that team on his back, and only his back. No, but it's gonna be interesting. I think it's really entertaining this year because the NBA is always entertaining, but I think we're now getting a new phase of young star players who will transform the game, especially at the bigs with Sengun, Holmgren, Wembanyama, and then we have a new phase of young guards in a Shea Gilgeous, a Halliburton, Fox. So it's really, and Cunningham, throw him in there. But it's really fresh to see these young guys get in here. It'll be entertaining to see what comes out of the college and G League and over international prospect fields, given they're probably going, if you're a top talent, I hope you like Detroit, Washington, or, well, one of two, or Portland, because that's what you're going to be finding.
All right. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. All right, John. All right. Heard it here first. Predictions. Nuggets repeat.
Yep.
Yeah. We'll see you guys next time. We might do. I don't know if we'll end up doing a playoff preview this year. Probably. Maybe. We'll see how the scheduling works out. But obviously, John, you guys will see John back, I'm sure, at some point in the near future. But so stay on the lookout for his blogs. You're going to release one soon-ish?
Yeah, I'll be releasing one soon. Again, I didn't say it again, but I focus on football right now. I do very in-depth prospects and evaluations for the NFL drafts. So be on the lookout for that. Always a baseball fanatic, pun intended. Go Phillies. But
all right.
I'm looking forward to writing more.
Yeah, 100%. So links to all that stuff will be in the description. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.